Hey, bookkeeping side hustle community, it's Kate. It is February 19th, 2021. I'm excited to be here on a Friday afternoon. Not sure when you're watching this, but Bill and I we're ready to go. I'm here with Bill von Fumetti. This is my third chance to interview him for our community, third chance in less than a year. So thank you for being here again, Bill. You're always generous with your time, sharing your expertise. And today, we're going to be talking about our QuickBooks ProAdvisor Profiles. If you're watching this, you probably know that there is a directory within the sort of ProAdvisor ecosystem, and businesses can like search for people like me and people like you and people like Bill. And Bill's going to help us make our profiles better so we get more traction. I know for me personally, I think I've gotten 7, like in the month of January, I got 7 replies, like people asking me, and I know that I'm not even doing my profile well. So it's a great way to get clients. It's free. And so we're going to ask Bill to tell us all about it. If you're listening to this later, if you go to bookkeepingsidehustle.com/ProAdvisor, I'll write any of my like debrief comments up there. That'll be a good like hub for this kind of information, or if Bill provides any information later on, that's sort of going to be like the hub for this particular interview. And it'll also contain some links there, and also down below, if you're watching this on YouTube, to those 2 other interviews that I've done with Bill. He is the creator of a course called Booming Bookkeeping, where he helps people get started in their bookkeeping entrepreneurial journey. And then he also did an interview where he broke down how to do Google and Facebook ads. And that's one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done to recommend to people. So be sure to check those out. A little bit more admin here. We're going to give away prizes at the end. So I want to say thanks to Intuit for giving 5 prizes. And I have 189 names registered in my little prize picker spinning wheel that we'll have 5 lucky winners from. And then last but not least, if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to it on the YouTube channel. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to record myself singing a rendition of Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. I've been practicing and I've written it up for accounting. I've changed the words. So subscribe. And there's bookkeepingsidehustle.com/support is another way to find ways to just say thanks. Most of them are free, like just subscribe to my YouTube channel. So without further ado, I would like for Bill to introduce himself more formally. Keep it casual though. And in these resource rundowns, I'm trying to get everyone to tell an accounting joke. One of my goals is to make accounting fun. So tell us about yourself and tell us a joke.
Cool. Yeah. So I am Bill von Fumetti, and I'm a CPA in Redondo Beach, California. And but most of what I do, in fact, about 99% of what I do is bookkeeping. So I do very little tax. I used to do tax. I thought I wanted to do tax. That's why I got a CPA license. But I love working with small business owners. And for the past 3 years, I've been helping people start and grow bookkeeping businesses. So that's my Booming Bookkeeping Business Program, where I help people start and grow their bookkeeping businesses. So that's a little bit about me. My joke, I had to look it up because I don't have any, but I found a good one that I thought was kind of funny.
All right.
What did the accountant's wife do when she couldn't sleep?
What did the accountant's wife do when she couldn't sleep? Count her debits and credits. No, I don't know what.
She turned over and said, "Honey, tell me about what you did today at work."
Oh, pretty boring. Yeah.
No, I think it's exciting work. I like it. I get joy out of it. But my wife, don't talk to her about it. That poor woman has suffered enough. You know, she knows. She, believe it or not, I was talking about a client, and she I told them, how much tax they owed. And she said, "Well, didn't they buy the business? Can't they do this?" And I said, "Wait, you're right." It's like she knows more than she should.
Yeah. Well, she's been listening to you some then, I guess. Good joke. Julianne chimed in, counting beans instead of counting sheep. That could have been good. All right, y'all. I'm going to assume that you were all rolling in your chairs or cars or wherever you're listening to this from. All right. Well, let's get into this. Again, we're going to talk about how to optimize our ProAdvisor profiles, supercharge our ProAdvisor profiles into lead generating machines. The reason you want a good profile is because it can be free marketing for you. Actually, I'll even give a plug for one more resource. You need to become a QuickBooks ProAdvisor, I think, to get in the directory. You have to pass your test. Is that right, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of the resources I wanted to point y'all to. And I'll put a link down below if you're watching this on YouTube. But Margie Rimmers has given us a fast and easy QuickBooks Online exam tips. And I did an interview with her in early January, and it has a lot of stuff that will probably help many of you. And then if you're someone who needs that extra help, she has a very affordable course to help fast track you through the test. And I say that to say she had a tip that you can almost use your ProAdvisor directory as kind of like your website.
Sure.
Until you get, like, if you're not ready to fully invest in a website yet, as long as that's really good, you could almost even put that on a card or put a link to it in all your emails as like on like a signature, and that could be a web page. So anyway, we're going to learn about how to do this well. There's a lot of different components to it, and I'm going to so I asked Bill to give us, if there was 3 things that someone had to do, the best 3 things, give us those. And then after that, because sometimes it can be overwhelming if you tell us 30 things to do.
Sure.
After those top 3, we'll go through whatever else you want to share. But if I could only do 3 things to this weekend, what should I focus on?
Sure. And I do want to say Margie is great. Margie Remmers, who did that training. She's actually in Booming Bookkeeping Business.
Yeah.
She's one of our students, and she is awesome. So if you need some help passing the exam, Margie's your girl. So,
awesome.
But yeah, so 3 things when it comes to the ProAdvisor profile, and you make a really good point. This is the first thing I teach people to do when they get started on their marketing, because if you do it right, it can be, and this is my first of the 3 tips, it can be your number 1 way of getting clients. I grew to about 75,000 in annual revenue just off of this, just off the ProAdvisor before I really did anything else.
Wow.
So this can be your number 1, but you have to optimize it. It's got to be done right.
Okay.
People make the mistake of with their marketing going wide, like trying to do everything, and that's not how you get results. You get results by focusing on, I like to say, between 1 and 3 marketing strategies at a time and doing them 100%.
Okay.
And so you don't want to just slap up a ProAdvisor profile and then move on to Google My Business or something else. You want to get it up there and get it done right, because this can be your number 1. So so that's the first thing that we'll talk about, and then I'll share my screen and we'll kind of go in and show you how to optimize this. Okay.
All right.
So that's number 1. Number 2 is that reviews are like gold. When it comes to these ProAdvisor profiles, I'm going to show you what the effect of reviews has on your profile. But they're like gold. And I'll give you a tip that is going to completely change your life, because it will result in a ton of calls, because a lot of people say, how do I get reviews if I only have 1 or 2 clients or no clients? And I've got a way to get all the reviews you want if you're just starting out.
All right. Well, let's go.
And this is all legitimate stuff. This is all legitimate stuff. And then the third thing you want to do, this is important to mention at the top, is you want to respond immediately. Okay. When somebody reaches out to you, you have to respond right away, because they're more than likely going to reach out to a couple of different people.
Right.
And I've had people reach out to me at 9 o'clock at night. I happen to be by the computer. I pick up my phone and I call them.
Okay. Call them.
You don't have to if you're not comfortable with it, but at 9 o'clock at night, I do it. They're doing their thing. I figure, why not give it a try?
Wow.
Nobody's ever been upset about it. You don't have to do it, but that's the way I do it. I like to, if it gets too late, I'm not going to do it, but you got to get on it, because these people are reaching out to more than 1.
Wow.
So those are kind of the three top tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Should we share our screen, or do you want to go next?
Let's do it. Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it. So then to your point about how popular this is, they don't have the numbers. I just went ahead and shared my screen.
Here we go.
I don't have they don't post the latest numbers, but the last time they posted numbers, this website got almost 1 million 1 million hits a year from small business owners looking for bookkeepers.
Okay.
So that's why this is the number one thing you got to do. If you're going to get started, get this thing up here, because a ton of people hit it, number one. And number two, as far as optimizing it goes, there was a post when I first joined the Side Hustle group, like this was last year sometime, where somebody asked if the ProAdvisor website was any good, and,
Okay.
or if they've gotten any results from it. And a lot of people said no. And I actually went, I would click on their Facebook profile. I went to their Facebook page. I saw where they were from. Then I went to the ProAdvisor site, looked them up, and their profile wasn't done. I mean, they had no reviews. They didn't write anything in the About Me section. There was like one sentence.
Okay.
If you want results, you got to do it right. And I'm going to show you everything you need to know to do it right.
All right.
So this is the ProAdvisor website. This is where people will go to, where small businesses will go to find bookkeepers. And they typically won't click on one of these, but they may, but they'll enter their location. The important thing to remember about this website is it is regional, like it is local. So don't expect to find clients across the country with this website.
Well, and I've always, so I think for a time I was like, oh, virtual bookkeeping, like I serve clients all over the country, and yes, I can. And as a military spouse, I really do think that because of moving around, that will naturally happen. But the point is not to have, I realize now the point is not to try to get clients all over the country. The point is to work virtually on my own time. And it doesn't matter if they're all local. And so actually my last like 5 clients have been local, and that's been fine, but they could be in Montana.
Right.
And for me, I had to have like a little mental shift about that. Like when I started, I thought, oh I really do need to, like, you know, the whole country is my oyster, and like, sure, but like I might, like, if I can get someone just down the road, that's just as good as someone far away. So it's fine that it's local.
Yeah,
cool.
some of the marketing is one of the biggest components of my program, and there are some strategies that work locally, and there are some strategies that work, you know, across the country. Google My Business, ProAdvisor, those are local. You'll find people near you. LinkedIn, you know, Facebook, you know, those types of strategies, you'll find people all over. So it's a little bit of both. This one is local. So keep in mind, if you're in a big city, there will be more competition, but there will also be more people. Okay. Smaller towns, if you're in a really tiny town, you'll probably get less prospects reaching out to you. But if you're the number one prospect, you'll get everything, you know? So it's important to just make sure this thing is optimized. So I'm just going to do a quick search here, and we'll just kind of go through a couple of things in terms of how the rankings really work. So it's going to show you, obviously, you can see like all of the ProAdvisors in the area, and a couple of things to note here. As you can see, I'm number 2, and it's really important to get to one of the top 2 spots. Okay, most of the time, what you'll see is that the first person, like Victoria here, you can see she's just really greedy. She's just got 78 reviews. You know, like she's just going crazy. And actually, she's really great. I refer a lot of people to her because she only does training. But reviews are paramount. Like I said, reviews will, as you can see, I searched in Hermosa Beach, which I'm only 1.8 miles away, and I could even do a search for my actual zip code here. I'm 0.5 miles away, and it shows 32 reviews. She's further away from me, but she ranks above me because she has so many more reviews.
Okay.
So getting more reviews will help you, even though you're a little bit further away from the search area, allow you to appear in that area. Okay. And the importance of being one of the top 2 is that when a small business owner reaches out I'll show you, on the profile, there's like a form that they'll fill out and that'll come to your email. The prospect will email you. When they do that and they send that form, a box pops up that says, hey, would you like to reach out to these other ProAdvisors as well? And you can just, the person can check a box and just hit send, and it will show the top 2 people. Okay. And so you can see how valuable that is. If somebody reached out to Kathy here, with that, that box, it's over here. They fill out this box. Once they click send message, a box is going to pop up and say, hey, do you want to send a message to Victoria and Bill as well?
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
being in the top 2 is uber important. You want to do a search in your area to see kind of what it's going to take to get there. Typically, what you'll see is what you see here. You've got somebody with 78, like a lot of reviews. Number 1 typically has a lot of reviews. Number 2 usually has a bunch of reviews, and then it kind of starts to fall off a cliff. I'm in a little bit more of a populated area, but 10, 13. A lot of times what you'll see something like 50, you'll see 15 or 20, and then you'll see 3.
So I have a question real quick. I only work in QuickBooks Online, and I don't know, I should know this. Is my profile a QuickBooks Online only ProAdvisor profile, or am I in the mix with desktop users?
This is everybody who's certified. So the QuickBooks Online certification is free for us inside of our free QuickBooks Online accountant accounts. But you can also purchase a desktop certification as well.
Right.
And if you can scroll down here and you can see some people, I don't want to scroll down too far, but some people are just desktop certified. So they'll be here as well.
I see. And so I'm trying to see, you have 4 badges under your name. Does that mean you have?
This is the maximum number of badges you have. So obviously QuickBooks Online, there's basic and advanced. And then these 3 here, and I think the price is like $750 right now, for the desktop certification.
Okay.
And not only can you get certified, but then you get the software as well.
Right.
I don't use the software. I don't use desktop. I'm advanced certified in it, but I have no clients who use desktop. I work strictly on online. I paid $750 like a year is what it is, because this to me is marketing. Okay. When somebody's looking at my profile here, they see all the badges, and for them, this says, hey, this guy really knows his stuff.
Wow.
So compared to, this person who doesn't have all 4, Kathy does, Elaine doesn't, he doesn't. I mean, very few people do. Now, I'm not saying that people should go out and pay $750 for all the certifications, because you only need the online certification to do well on this.
And you have to take exams, I assume, too, right?
There's an exam for each of these.
Okay.
So I am not saying go out and get desktop certified. You can do really great just having your online certification. I just did that as a little extra juice.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. But the other thing I'll mention here is the online certification, again, is all you need to get listed here. If you get the advanced certification, that allegedly, and I've been on webinars with Intuit where they've said that you get a little bit of extra juice if you have the advanced. In other words, if all else being equal between 2 profiles, if one person is advanced, you'll probably rank ahead of them. Okay. So that's important there. Obviously, reviews are important to the extent that, I mean, she's listed above me. But I'm closer to the area. So I'm in Redondo Beach, which is kind of like a suburb of Los Angeles. If you search in Los Angeles or like a Los Angeles downtown zip code, I'll never show up. Okay. It's just no matter how many reviews I have.
Okay.
But when you talk about, a 10-mile radius, you can show up 10 miles, it's debatable. It depends on population and other factors, but you can show up in other areas, and it really all depends on your reviews. But start with getting enough reviews to get to number 1 or 2. Okay. Get to number 1 or 2. Those are those really great spots where, people have the option to email you after they email whoever else they intended on.
I have a question for you. I do want to take the time to say right now, since we have so many people watching, if y'all have questions, type them in the comments. I'm using StreamYard as the streaming tool, so you need to type your name if you didn't allow StreamYard permission to. So type your comment and your name if you want me to say your name. You don't have to type your name, but let us know if you have any questions. Liz is asking, can you only put QBO badges there? And you kind of answered that. They can only be Intuit badges, but it can be desktop certs there, Liz.
Right. Yeah, and those show up automatically. So as you're certified, they'll show up automatically.
A question I have, since we're kind of talking about the geography, I think it's an okay time to ask this. I grew up in a town of 4,000 people. I don't live in that town anymore, but I'm sure you have students from tiny towns. How does someone handle that? Like if you are in, 45 minutes outside of San Antonio, Texas, where I grew up. I assume San Antonio probably has a lot, but Devine, Texas might have 0. Do I pick a different zip code, or because then will I not ever have a chance of showing up in San Antonio, and Devine only has 7 or 8 possible QuickBooks users? But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, that's why it is the number of prospects you get reaching out to you is going to be to some degree related to how where you're at geographically and what the population's like. They do, in order to publish this profile, they ask, you've got to provide a business license, you've got to provide some documentation, and so they're going to compare your location. Now there are things you can do. Like I know people who are in a small town, and they might get 1 or 2 prospects a month from this.
Oh, wow.
Which is actually pretty good when you think about it.
Yeah.
I've actually got 3 people in my group from New Braunfels, Texas, which is
New Braunfels.
Isn't it kind of a small town?
Well, my town is smaller. New Braunfels is like an hour and a half away. I'm south of San Antonio, headed towards the border. New Braunfels is kind of equidistant. I am south. It's north of San Antonio.
Okay.
But I had to drive through New Braunfels every time I went to college it's on the same highway up in Waco. Yeah. So New Braunfels is on 35.
To my knowledge, it's not a huge town, and I've got 3 people in my program from that city, and they're all killing it. But my advice to somebody in a small town is just be number 1 or number 2, and you'll be fine. Again, use maximize the ProAdvisor profile and move on. You might not get, if you look at mine here, this is the last 30 days, and I'll refresh it just to show you that it's not like a screenshot or anything. But I've gotten over the last 30 days 116 views, 27 people have emailed me, and 47 people. This inquiries is like if they've clicked on my LinkedIn or clicked on my phone number or clicked on my website. And that's a lot. Okay. But people in smaller towns, you can do really well as well. You might only get 1 or 2 a month, but that can translate into big dollars for you for getting those clients. So maximize this so you can get what's out there to be had, and then move on to maximizing another marketing strategy. Okay. So if you're in a small town, that's just how it's going to work. But I have had people in a small town open up another location in the big town, like San Antonio next door. Obviously, it requires a business license and stuff like that, but then that allows them to have a ProAdvisor profile in that bigger city.
I'll share a hack. I'll share a hack there. I live in Virginia Beach, so fairly large. I'm a member of a co-working space, and so if I lived like out in the country out here in Suffolk or something, I bet co-working spaces are huge, y'all. And I have actually gotten many clients from my co-working space. But you can have that as an address too. So that would be a really cool way to kind of like, not just like go rent an address, like a PO box, but maybe kind of put some effort into it. And like once a month you can go sit there. Our co-working space, well, before COVID, we did lunch and learns, and we had speakers, and the Small Business Development Center would do training. So you could go in on those days, but then you pay your like a small, join at the lowest level, but still maybe use their address. So that could be a kind of a little bit better hack than just getting an address to open a new location.
Well, yeah, but the one thing I will mention there is like when it comes to Google My Business, which is another massive way of getting clients, they will verify your location with a postcard. And they will not allow co-working spaces for Google My Business. I don't know if the ProAdvisor profile will or not, but like stuff like the ProAdvisor website is not as, you'll find it's not as sophisticated as like Yelp. And I'm not saying Yelp is great, but I'm saying it's not as sophisticated as Yelp. It's not as sophisticated as Google My Business. So they may allow co-working spaces as addresses, but they do ask you for documentation like business license, articles of organization, things like that. They really do kind of verify you are who they say, you say you are.
Well, I kind of like that because you can't just be a tire kicker otherwise, because the certification is so easy to get. Like it is so easy to get. We don't want everyone who gets the certification to also be in the directory if you're not going to if you're just going to serve your spouse's small business and you just took the certification to learn QuickBooks, something like that. So that's cool. All right, what else?
Okay, so a couple other things. I know there's a couple questions here, but I want to get to a couple things and finish off this page, and then we'll dive into the actual profile. So a
Let's
few
do it.
things that can make you stand out on this page. I offer a free consultation. This is just a checkbox, and then you get this blue banner up here, and see, these people don't have it. That's going to make me stand out. Some people charge for consultations. I don't. I am happy to spend 15 to 20 minutes on the phone with a prospect because I'm very comfortable with my ability to convert them into a client. So that to me is time well spent. If you want to charge for consultations, then don't put this up here. But me having it up there, I get a ton of people reaching out. So it can be a benefit.
I'm pretty sure mine says free consultation.
And then the picture, it doesn't have to be a professional picture, but I've seen some pretty awful pictures. I once saw it looked like a girl in a nightclub or something like that.
Oh.
It's like, I don't know why she would have put that up here. But anyway, it doesn't have to be it just has to be a picture that, smile and, take it with your iPhone on portrait mode and it'll be fine.
Y'all, I'm going to make a note in the link to this video description. If you're watching this later, I have an article, bookkeepingsidehustle.com/DIY-headshots. And I took my own picture, and it's my favorite. The picture that I use right now for whenever I need a picture of myself, it's one of my favorite pictures of myself. And it was with my phone, and I used a little filter kind of thing. And I show you the whole way. I had a friend take a picture by a cool building, and it was free.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check that article out. There's no excuse not to have a picture, guys. No excuse.
That's well put. That's well put. And you'll see as you scroll through, some pictures are better than others. Hey, there's Karen. Karen's in my group too. But sometimes you'll just see awful pictures here and sometimes there'll just be a logo and there's just no sense in that. People, we're looking to connect with real human beings, and, we let them see you, let them see you. So, those things, what's that?
I was gonna say your students are coming for you, man. You're doing
so.
too good. Karen's gonna pass you.
Karen's actually doing really well. And again, there's lots of marketing strategies we talk about in the group. So the fact that I'm sure she gets calls. She's up in Lomita, but she's actually we're giving out some awards for people who've hit certain revenue numbers, and she's gotten our biggest award. So.
Cool.
Yeah, she's killing.
I'm just teasing.
But she better watch out. She better watch out. But anyway, so those are the things where you can stand out on your results. Okay, so reviews are huge, and I'm going to talk about that tip on how to get reviews, how to get all kinds of reviews later, because that's what'll get you to the top here. Reviews, the picture, free consultations, and then your certifications will help you stand out on this page. Okay.
Got it.
So we'll click in, we'll go in here, and we'll take a look at kind of how you can stand out. Once somebody clicks on your profile, how do we get them to call you? They can click here and dial you up. They can hit your website, or they can email you here. Most of the time, people will just shoot you an email. Okay, they'll just type this in and you'll get an email. Okay, so once getting them to click onto this profile, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. Once you've got that, you're kind of done. And again, it all has to do with your reviews. And so here's the tip to get all the reviews you can, even if you're just starting out. If you've got some clients, reach out to them, bug them. They should love you. If you're doing good work for them, they should love you. Reach out, send them an email. And in my email, I say something like, hey, I'd really appreciate your help. If you could leave me a review on my website, it would really mean a lot to me and it would help my business out, but only if you leave me 5 stars. Ha ha ha. Just kind of keeping it light and just, and they should like you, and they should want to do it anyway to help you out. I've had to remind people up to 3 times. Some people say I've sent out emails, I've asked people, but they're so busy. Bug them again. If they bug us enough, let's, this is a 2-way relationship.
Yeah.
And so I've actually reminded people up to 3 times. Now I've had people that just didn't do it, and that's fine. But if you've got clients, reach out. Okay. Don't be shy to reach out. If you do good work for them, they want to help you out. So that's how you get reviews for current clients. If you only have a few clients or you have no clients, Here's the hack to help you get clients. To leave a review, and I'm just going to preface this by saying to leave a review, somebody scrolls down here and they click on this write a review button. Okay. And then they fill out this information.
Okay.
To leave a review, the only thing this person needs is an email address. Okay. That's all it needs. Now, I will say that in my mind opens this system up to a little bit of abuse. Because, I mean, Gmail, you could create a bunch of fake email addresses if you really wanted to. I don't know of it happening, but I would assume that could happen. Once they enter their review and their email address, it's not like they get an email to verify anything or anything. That review will just go up on your website. So I say that to kind of like warn people that like I do not recommend trying to get fake reviews. Okay. Obviously everything we do needs to be on the up and up.
Yes.
To get reviews when you don't have clients, well, the answer is to get clients. A client doesn't have to pay you. Okay. Find anybody you know that has a business, that is thinking about opening up a business. I mean, that should kind of encompass everybody you know. Everybody's thought about opening a business or preparing to open a business or maybe has a business. You don't have to do work for them. Sit them down and do like a 30 to 60 minute training session on QuickBooks Online. Sit them down. Like I said, Victoria, who's like #1 in my area, all she does is training. She sits people down and she shows them how to do their own QuickBooks. Find somebody who has a business, wants to open a business, thought about opening a business, sit them down, do a training. Show them what QuickBooks can do. Here's how you connect your bank accounts. Here's how you do a reconciliation. Here's how you run a profit and loss. Give them a real training. That now, and you haven't charged them, but that doesn't mean they're not a client. That's like a pro bono training. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe you've done it in exchange for something, or maybe you just did it to give them training. Now they're a pro bono client that can leave you a review, a legitimate review, and they can say, this person like showed me exactly how to use QuickBooks. Like I'm totally confident in you know, using it to run my business.
Yep.
That's the tip to getting reviews if you're just getting started.
I'll supercharge that. There's a gal I met here locally. She's trying to become like a business coach, and she's not a client. She asked me for a proposal one time, and she didn't pick me. But a year ago, she asked me to do. We were basically business owner to business owner chatting, and she's like, "Yeah, all of my ladies in my group need to know about bookkeeping." So I actually did a presentation for her, but for like 15 people. And so if you have any way to get in front of more than one person, that's an hour of time. And if even half of 15 give you reviews, that's a lot of reviews. So
right.
Is there a way that you can do it like your local chamber of commerce is like having, like some sort of something? Everyone's always needing to do like some sort of training. Our small business development center here is always doing stuff. My co-working space is always doing stuff. You could train people on like how to do 1099 or like just general kind of stuff. So maybe put your thinking cap on about that. How could you access even like a room full of people to talk about books and accounting and bookkeeping in general? Yeah, it's a great idea. And we overthink it. You're like, oh, I can't get a review if I don't have a client. Well, like figure out a way to say yes. And that's just what you've described to us, Bill. You've said like, okay, yes, you have a constraint, like no one's writing you any checks yet, but don't let that stop you. And you're going to have to be doing that at every step of this journey, guys. At every step, it's going to be a door closed, and you're going to say, all right, but Bill says I got to get more reviews. So what's my hack?
Figure it out. Yeah. I've worked with just over 1,000 people have signed up for my program, and the ones who are the most successful are the ones that just figure it out. Yes, I'm here. I can answer pretty much any question you throw at me, and that's the value of working with a mentor. But the ones that are the most successful are the ones that aren't saying, well, yeah, but Bill, I don't have a client, or yeah, but Bill, like they just figure it out. And so getting reviews, like I said, typically what you'll see and it varies, but typically you'll see number 1 has a ton of reviews, number 2 has some reviews, and then number 3, it drops off. So you can get to number 3 pretty easily, and number 2 without too much work. I tell people, my quote is, get obsessed about getting reviews. Because what happens here, if I go back to this page here, if I wanted to, if somebody just started, to get to be number 2, they'd have to get at least 32 reviews. Again, if you don't take into account location, they'd have to get to at least 32, 33 reviews. Well, you might say, well, gosh, that's a lot of reviews. I'm just getting started. Like, I guess I'll just go network, or I'll go hand out some business cards, or whatever it is. No. Okay, that's not the approach you want to take. You want to get obsessed about this, get those reviews. You could sit as many people as you can down, sit 2 or 3 a day. If you really made this a priority, you could get to 33 reviews in a few weeks. And then, you know what happens? You get, over the last 30 days, you get almost 1 person reaching out every day. Okay,
Wow.
now I'm in a little bit more populated city, but keep in mind that I'm not appearing to people in Los Angeles, even though I'm close to Los Angeles. I still only appear to people in a certain radius. Okay, so doing this legwork, it may take you a couple of weeks and you got to get obsessed about these reviews, but it results in big numbers for your business. If I sign, and my closing rate's pretty good. I typically close, not all these are qualified people, but I typically close about 30% of people who I talk to, not because I can't close more, but because I'm very picky about who I work with. But just imagine what bringing 2 new clients a month will do to your business. Even if they're paying like maybe $500 a month in bookkeeping fees, and that's kind of on the low side, that's $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year in revenue. And then that's every month. Okay, you're adding another $12,000 in revenue every month just because you put in the work to get this up here.
Wow. That's
this
crazy.
Pays off.
Yeah.
I grew to at least 75K in revenue just by doing this. And so if you get obsessed about doing this, what'll happen is you'll get up here, and then what happens to everybody else, you get up here, you get your reviews, you start getting all the calls, you start doing client work, and then you start to fall down on the list because people, Kathy's going to see this eventually. I know Kathy, and she's good. She's going to see this eventually. She's going to say, "Oh no, Bill didn't," and she's going to go get a bunch of reviews. And so it's a little game, but it happens over the course of like 6 to 12 months. I might slide down to number 3 or 4, but you'll still get your calls. Put in this work. This is work that that pays off in big time in the future. Again, like I said, if you can get a client or 2 a month out of this, and you can bring on an extra 12K in revenue every month just because your profile is sitting in the right spot. That's 12 times 12. That's $144,000 in the course of a year that, give or take, that made, now you're there. And once you kind of get to a level of revenue that you're happy with in your business, you're kind of in maintenance mode. You've always got your marketing out there doing your stuff and bringing in some clients, some prospects, but now you can be super picky and you can kind of be in maintenance mode. So I can't stress this enough. Get obsessed about these reviews and get obsessed about optimizing this profile.
Do the people who leave reviews have to be over 18 years old?
I don't know. It does say if you go down here, it does say that, hey, you got to meet some certain requirements.
Because what I'm thinking while you're looking that up is I have actually gotten emailed recently about talking to a high school entrepreneur class, and they have entrepreneur like camps and academies and stuff like that. You can make some rounds that way, do like a service where you like go to the high school accounting class or entrepreneurship class and ask them, I don't know, reviews.
As long as it satisfies these conditions, like, what's the title? You just need a title. What services did you provide? Well, guess what? You did, here's bookkeeping. You did consulting. You did, there's training under here.
Yeah.
QuickBooks training. Bingo. You're not lying. You've actually trained a business owner to now, like, what's going to happen to this business owner who's like, yeah, I've always thought about starting a home-based, like, I'm good at baking. I want to start a baking business. What tool do you think they're going to use once they open that business? They're going to go buy QuickBooks now. That's a good thing for QuickBooks. That's what they're trying to do by having us out there, on this website. Tell us about your experience. What software did you use? Industry is optional, and a screen nickname. As long as the person can fill out those things, which people can do on a pro bono training type thing, you're set. And then, like I said, they just need an email address. Find somebody, who's got a pulse and an email address and who's thought about opening a business.
Everyone's got
Put
a
in the
friend who
work.
wants to be a photographer or a baker or
Yeah.
tutor or piano
That's all it
teacher.
takes. I mean, those people should be on QuickBooks if they take their business seriously. So let's train them. And again, you get those reviews, you get in the right spot, you get calls and you make money. So this happens without fail. People in my program, they say, Bill, I'm not getting any calls from my ProAdvisor. I look at it. It's not done according to how I talk about in the training, because as try as you might, you tell them exactly what to do. And some people just, want to do it their way. We make the changes and the calls start coming. So for anybody listening to this, please take it seriously. Go get your reviews and you'll knock it out of the park with this thing.
So what else? Let's focus on the actual content here. What
Let's do
else
it.
do we need to do?
Okay, just a few things, because like I said, once you get them here, I'd say you've done probably about 90% of the work. At this point, I would be afraid more of just putting my foot in my mouth than I would getting, having to wow them, because they're already kind of wowed. So, but what to do to get people over the hump to fill out this form or to reach out and call you. Like I said, most people will go ahead and email you. Is this about me section is the next most important section there. Okay. So all this we've kind of talked about already. This is going to be your next biggest opportunity to get them to reach out. So whenever we talk about what we do, okay, and this is, if we're standing in front of a group of people networking, if we're on LinkedIn, if we're on Facebook, if we're on ProAdvisor, or we're just talking to our friends, we don't do payroll. We don't do bookkeeping. We don't, reconcile accounts or handle AR and AP. We don't do that. We help clients grow their business. Okay. I help chiropractors expand to additional locations. I help construction companies expand, double their revenue in 5 years. That's the language that we should be starting to talk to use when we talk about what we do. So at the top of your about me, you always want to lead with what's called your value proposition. Okay. In other words, what specifically do you bring to the table? That's what's going to stand out to clients. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you look like. They don't care whether you have glasses or not, red hair, bald hair. They don't care if you have a CPA behind your name. They don't care if you went to Harvard. They don't care about any of that stuff. They care about whether or not you can solve their problems and grow their business. That's all they care about. So we want to give that to them up front. Now, that's what I've done here. I've been very specific about the types of results I can get clients. Okay. Increase profitability by an average of this, help people expand, save an average of this in tax, save them this much time. I hit them with that right up front. And that's what I encourage everybody to do. You want to lead with your value proposition. And if you're just getting started, you may say, well, I don't have any clients, so I have no client results. Well, you can look on the QuickBooks website. They always change where they put this, but they have studies that they've done that says, QuickBooks users make an additional $3,500 in profit every year. Or
I think they save so much time too. Using QuickBooks saves you 6 hours a week or something like that.
Yeah, they do both. And so that's where this can come in. You don't have to have worked with clients to say that you can save clients time and let them spend time with their families. That's a study that's been done by QuickBooks. They say that if you use QuickBooks, you can save this much money. If you use QuickBooks, you can save this much time. So you can use those things as your value proposition. And of course, if your value proposition needs to start off a little bit more generic because you're just getting started, that's fine. But tell them that you're going to save time and give them time to focus on growing their business and spending time with their families.
Okay.
Those are end results that we can talk about, as opposed to, I'll make sure your accounts are reconciled and I'll make sure your payroll's processed. They don't care about that. They want to spend more time with their families or grow their business. So do that at the top. That's the most important thing you can do here. Now, I have this line up here that says, when a CPA handles your bookkeeping, you make more profit and minimize taxes. Spoiler alert, it's affordable. When people see that I'm a CPA, they think I'm too expensive, so they don't call me.
Okay, that's why you have that. Okay.
That's why I have that, to counteract that. So you don't need anything like that. And we certainly don't want to talk about how cheap our services are. We don't do that. We talk about the value we can provide, That's what's going to close the deal. So once you do that, then it's perfectly fine to go in and talk about some of the services you provide. I talk about, how for some clients I handle everything. Okay. For other clients, I just do, I just do whatever services make sense for them. And then finally, you want to conclude with a call to action. What should they do? People are silently begging to be led and kind of told what to do. And we just nudge them to, hey, reach out. I can free up some time to spend on, so you can spend it on your business and your family. So this is really going to be the most important part of your profile once people click in. Most people at this point will just go ahead and fill out the form.
Okay.
Okay.
I have
they
found,
won't really,
go ahead.
Yeah, they really won't scroll down much further, but they might. So you'll just fill this out as well. How many years in business, industries you've served. These are all just check boxes. Languages, list your different social sites here, any credentials, what software you use, and that's it. That's it. Just make sure these things are filled out, and you're good to go. Your reviews are going to be down here. So that's really the long and the short of it.
When I have gotten replies, I have found that the people contacting me are mostly writing very short sentences. Do you find that they're not really explaining that much? It's like, oh, I need help with my QuickBooks. Can you help? Or something like that. Is that common?
Yeah. A lot of times people will see, where'd that go? I just clicked on it and it disappeared, the little box. There's some default text.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Default, well, I don't know. Okay. It just keeps disappearing. So the website's not perfect, but sometimes they'll copy this. A lot of times the ones I see where they will talk about what services that they're looking for. Like I need somebody to clean up my books and to do this. I do sometimes get one-liners, and that's okay too. They're business owners. I'll reach out to them. I wish they'd be more specific, but yeah, that's pretty normal.
Okay. Well, and I have been able to get to the point, and I'm like, I am not big time, guys. I have a Google form and I have free Calendly, but I have like what to me was this heroic effort of getting like a calendar request. So whenever I reply, I say, please fill out this intake form and please book a time. I haven't picked up the phone and called anybody like you, Bill, which I probably, that's why you have.
You're not awake at 9 o'clock anyway. You've got to be up at 4 a.m. or whatever crazy number you get up at.
I'm not up that late. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, people don't like, if you start to notice, like, what am I going to say to this person? They didn't give me anything. I have found that I had a hard time with those conversations. Like if they just said, oh, I need to clean up and, reporting, thanks, bye. I'm like, sure. Okay, I don't know what industry you're in, and I try to like social media stalk them and like, okay, I think this company does this, but sometimes it hasn't been that much. So I've been able to create this, again, all free tools to then have them. And I'm really at the point now where, I'm probably not as picky as you, Bill, but like, if they can't even just fill out that one form, I kind of want to know some basic things, like if you show me your website, tell me what industry you're in. Like if you're manufacturing something, like we don't need to waste our time. Like I cannot, sure. I'm not going to be your bookkeeper.
Sure.
And so I'm just saying that as an encouragement, I guess, to know that those initial calls, like you'll get better at having those calls and getting that information and having those calls be quick. And so that way it's not this like 2-hour prep time for this 15-minute call because you're nervous. You can kind of get some, I try to ask for their monthly or yearly revenue number too. So I kind of know, like, are these guys playing in my ballpark or not?
Sure.
So,
yeah, everybody's got their own way of handling things. And even in my group, I teach kind of best practices, but this is your business. Do what you feel comfortable with. I know a lot of people that do what you do, and they'll get the reach out from the ProAdvisor, and they'll shoot back an email. Hey, great, fill out this thing and let's schedule a time to talk. I'm more of a proponent of just like pick up that phone, because you can ask some questions in the first couple minutes that really determines whether or not you're a good fit, and then you can refer them back here if they're not. But I'm a big proponent of kind of like just jumping on the phone right away, because it removes the friction of them having to take another step to reach out to you. Because
how about I make a deal? I'm gonna, maybe I'll call the next person who reaches out
Just
to me.
call.
Oh my gosh,
Pick up
I'm
the
sweating
phone.
thinking about it.
Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Call. You don't need to know anything about them. Pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, I'm calling. You reached out through the QuickBooks website. Tell me a little bit about your business and what you're looking for some help with." And then they're just going to go off at the mouth because they're looking for a therapist. In a
I
lot of
know.
cases.
Do you use the information that you get in that immediate phone call to write your proposal, or do you have to have another call? You're able to get everything you need to give them a proposal.
Well, maybe I make sure I get as much as I need to give them a range. Okay, I want to give them a range of fees because first thing you do at the start of a consultation is let's see if I need to spend more than 5 minutes on the phone with this person. Let's see if we're a fit or not, and if they're not, let me refer them to Victoria for training or back to the QuickBooks website or something like that. And if they are a fit, then we talk a little bit about their goals and their challenges. And then when I talk about what I do, I don't talk about again, I talk about how I can help them solve their problems, their challenges, or meet their goals. Okay, well, what I do is I help my clients grow their business. We open additional locations, and we do that because this is how we work together. I don't talk about we handle payroll. Who do you use for payroll? Or we don't talk about those types of things. We keep it let's solve their problems. Let's show them we can help them reach their goals. And then they say, okay, I say, what other questions do you have? They'll always bring up the price question and say, what does it cost? Well, you can ask them a couple of questions in terms of developing a fee. I've got some questions that we typically ask people in terms of how they pay, how they get paid, things like that. And then we say, based on kind of what you're saying, my fees range anywhere from, and I always talk about value pricing. It's like a flat fee. Some people think, what's your hourly rate? And the little mic, I'll just throw this in here because it's a really valuable thing to say when people say, well, what's your hourly rate? You say, well, I don't work hourly. I work on a fixed fee. I leverage technology to the point where we're really able to automate most of the steps in the process. So I can look at, kind of your workflows and what you need and very accurately determine kind of a monthly fee that reflects the quantity and complexity of the work to be done. And that way, you know what to expect every month. I know what to expect every month. And when you work hourly, someone doesn't have any incentive to be efficient.
Right. That's true.
When you say someone hourly doesn't have any incentive to be efficient, that's that mic drop moment, and they stop asking about hourly, because if anybody here has ever paid anybody hourly, you're always kind of thinking in the back of your head, why is it taking you so long? Or they're milking the clock. And so they stop right there. And then you're able to give them kind of that range. I've had people who I really wasn't able to determine, kind of a narrow range. So give them a wide range, but let them know kind of where they might stand in that range. And that will let you know whether or not you need to do any other work to review this person's books. If I talk to somebody and they give me an idea of and I might say, yeah, this could be $1,000 client. This could be like a $500 a month client. I'll say what you're based on what you're telling me, it's probably going to be anywhere between $500 and $1,500 a month, but you might be on the lower end of that spectrum. What they hear when they hear lower end of that spectrum, they hear like $500. But it gives you the latitude after you review the books, because they've heard the range, to come back at $1,000 a month.
Okay.
So you're when you give a range, you're able to see if you're in the ballpark. If you say $500 to $1,500 and you're like, whoa, then this is not a good fit. I don't need to. That's just you don't have to do any work reviewing the books. You don't have to send a follow-up email, any of that stuff. So you really want to determine those things quickly, so that you don't spend time talking to someone who's not a good fit.
All right. Well, I'm going to look through our chat here and make sure we got, someone is asking, we've answered, what do you do if you don't have any clients yet? Someone is saying their profile was not published. Do you run into problems with that? Is that probably they're not a registered business, or?
So it depends on why it wasn't published. When you publish it, you've got to supply documentation to Intuit, and sometimes Intuit takes a long time to get back to you.
Yeah.
I've had people who are they've got their documentation and they rejected it, and they had to spend like hours on the phone with Intuit. Sometimes Intuit's phone support is not, not where we want it to be, but it always gets through. Be diligent and just stick with it, because once it goes through, you got your profile up and you're done. Like, and this thing can start generating, money for you. So you'll get it done, but it depends on the specific situation.
And that was one question I had for you. If there is any problems, we need to basically like chat with the ProAdvisor chat, like the same kind of chat that we're going to have whenever we have a problem with actual QuickBooks, like in a client file. So that's how you would get support for like this marketing mechanism, guys. Someone's asking, is it absolutely necessary to have a website as a part of this profile?
No. I mean, like you said before, and I listened to your interview with Margie, you could use this as your website. Like you could just direct people here. The other thing that this can be good for is when, and this comes up sometimes in the group, oh, so-and-so asked for a resume, or so-and-so asked, this client prospect asked for a resume, or this or that, say, I mean, we don't do resumes. We're business owners. I don't go to my doctor and say, what's your resume? It's like, I'll go online and research what I need to research about him. It shows that he went to, Yale, and that, he's been doing this for 5 years. Well, guess what? I tell those people, we don't keep, as a business owner, we don't keep resumes here, obviously, but I encourage you to check out all of the great reviews you can hear from all my prior clients here. Boom. I do this. Just refer them here. They can see these people. If it's a client I really want to work with, and if you're getting started, you might say, hey, I want to work with any client. But if it's a client I really want to work with, there was one I had that I really, really wanted to work with. He's like the #1 luxury real estate agent in this area. And he said, yeah, I'd like to talk to somebody you worked with. I'm not a fan of that, but I really wanted to work with this guy. Here's what you say. You say, look, as you can imagine, these business owners are very busy, very, very busy. Be happy to put you in touch with someone I've worked with, as long as it's already a yes, and you just need kind of a little bow on top of it. If it's a yes, and you just want to talk to somebody for that validation, absolutely. But if you're still on the fence and you're not sure if it's a good fit, I'd rather not, kind of take up that person's time if you're not even there yet. That's a really good thing that you can say to when you encounter that.
You are so smooth. It's like, I feel like I'm like the Pee-wees, and you're like, everything you say is just like, I think it's just because you've been around the block so much. Like when I think about you, it's like you're still in the trenches of really, you really run a bookkeeping business, and you have clients, and you have all these reviews, and you've had those conversations, and that's exciting to think. I don't have as big of a business as you, and the longer I'm in business and the more I work with clients, the more I'm gonna have a chance to have that, oh, this is how I handle when someone wants to like talk with the client. But now I'm gonna remember what you said. It's just impressive. Yeah. I'm always impressed when I interact with you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'll tell you this, I was where you are. I was where everybody on the chat, everybody who's watching this, I was in the same place. I went to my first meeting. I put on a suit. It was an in-person thing. I put on my suit, and I fixed my hair, and I took in my notebook. It was a fancy, like it was like a leather like portfolio thing with my fancy pen. And, I'm talking to the guy, and I am so nervous. Like my heart's beating out of my chest. I'm like writing nonsense on the paper to make it look like I'm paying attention. I don't know any of the right questions to ask. I was a basket case. I was an absolute basket case. And that's where we all start. That's where we all start. And I say, it is okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel anxious when you're getting started. It is not okay to let those feelings stop you from achieving your goals and getting where you want to be. And so I was there, but you'll get to a point where you're working with clients and you've put up with enough mess from clients that you're just, hey, I'm confident in what I can provide here. And I'm not going to, I'm going to tell it like it is, and clients appreciate that. They really, really do.
Speaking of fancy notebooks, is there anything? I have a fancy notebook to give away.
What
from
a
Intuit.
great transition.
They're giving us a fancy notebook to give away. Is there anything else we need to say about this profile? I feel like if people do even half of what we talked about and write down some of the lines you've said, just to and say them in the mirror, because we got bonus. We got practical, tactical QBO directory tips, and then we got the build juice, the here's how you work with the luxury real estate professional.
Well,
it's like,
what's the worst that can happen if you say some of the things that I've said, and even though you're like, I can't believe Bill talks like that to these clients. What's the worst that you think that can happen if you say that? They'll say no. The worst that can happen to a client is they say, I don't think it's a good fit. And if we do our marketing right, if we get our marketing dialed in, and there's lots of stuff we can be doing when it comes to marketing, if we get it dialed in, we have enough people reaching out to us where we're not living and dying on each prospect. We shouldn't be living and dying. We should be having, kind of a consistent flow of prospects. And that's really what we work for. When I work with people, I really work that so that they have that, because that's going to give you the confidence. If you've got 5 other people to talk to, well, you're not going to bend over backwards and give somebody like this extreme discount just because you don't want to lose them. It's going to give you that confidence.
You're awesome. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I am going to stop Bill sharing his screen, and I have a picture. I'm going to show you what we're giving away. Let me see if I can do it big here. Share my screen. Thanks for being here with me, guys, while I'm doing this. Can I make this any bigger?
Hey,
all right. We're getting, so this backpack is going to have Intuit on it. We get a coffee. Someone's going to get a coffee mug. Someone is going to get this notebook with some pens. I didn't have a picture of the pens, though. This is a Google Mini. I think it's just like maybe like an Alexa type thing or something. And then these are like luggage packing set. So that's pretty cool. One of my goals
is good stuff.
Yeah. I want to get.
I got a USB charger I got a pin from QuickBooks.
Well, I asked, and I got first I got a yes, and then I was like, can I have more than one? And she said 5. So I'm really grateful to Intuit. Thank you so much for doing this. So I'm gonna, let's see, minimize this. Bring my little picker wheel up here. So we're gonna spin 5 times, and I wrote my order here. We're gonna go backpack, the packing, the luggage stuff, the notebook, the coffee mug, and then the Google Mini. Y'all ready? Here we go.
You need some, some sound effects while you're doing this, like applause or, yeah, or that, yeah.
Who do we have? Debbie Malloy gets the backpack. All right. Let's go hide that choice, I think. And then we're going to spin again. This is for the packing, the luggage stuff. 3 pack. Who do we have here?
It's real luggage?
I think it might be like the small, medium, large packing cubes. I don't really know. I couldn't really tell.
Looks cool. The backpack looks really cool.
Jill Hardgrave Radford, congrats. Let's go hide that. Spin again. 3 more. This is for the notebook and the pens, so you can walk into that meeting, that very first
yeah, you can get your tie straight and just head on in.
Aaron Considine, coffee mug coming up. It's spinning a long time. Here we go. Michelle Lima gets the coffee mug, and last but not least, sorry, y'all are getting random ads from the free website spinning tool. What are we being advertised for? Nestle. Try Nestle. And Tiffany Bear, she was on the call. And she's from Lavernia, Texas. She chimed in, which is like a town basically exactly like my little town.
Oh,
awesome.
Cool.
We got 5 gifts to give away. I'm on a mission to get swag into the hands of the little people like me. I like my little pair of Gusto socks I got so much in the fall that I'm just going to start asking people to give stuff away.
Yeah. Well, do I have anything else in here? I'll find some stuff to give away next time I'm on. We'll do something else, maybe a Google My Business or something. Lots of cool marketing stuff out there.
All right. Yeah, it's I don't know. It just makes me feel like real, I do have a goal of trying to go to a conference this year. 3 years into my business, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm like, I'm legit enough to like do an accounting conference. I don't
know what? You're known. I think you're known. I think people know you.
Well, I just want to go and learn, and I want to meet people. And I think it's so important. Like this idea of community. I know that's one of the best parts about your booming bookkeeping community is just the like not. I'm a big believer in not doing it alone. You're not going to make it in business if you think you don't need help, and if you don't have someone to ask, and someone you can't help, and if it just feels good to help people. And anyway, so those are our 5 gifts. Let me make sure I got my little wrap up comments here. We gave away some swag. Y'all, check out boomingbookkeeping.com. That's one of the best ways to find out more about Bill. There'll be a link to his course. A while back, he gave me an affiliate link to that course, so I'll have it in the YouTube description below. You need to find someone who is able to kind of like, we do want to figure stuff out on our own, like he was saying, like people who aren't saying no, but it's also really nice. Like there's only so much of that you can take. So be scrappy, but also realize that like having someone who like Bill clearly knows what he's talking about. Every time I think about my interactions with you, it's like you are the real deal. You're not someone that's just like trying to sell like marketing. You're getting clients. You're in the weeds. I mean, it's kind of like that ProAdvisor profile is kind of in the weeds, you know? It's not flashy. It's like, it's not this like fancy slick lead page to a funnel to a, you know, it's just your, sometimes some of us just like to like do old fashioned kind of like hard normal work and not be like so slick. And in a way, this is kind of that. It's just use a tool that's available and use it well. And so I know you teach all these things, and I'm happy to talk to you. I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you for everyone who's listening on a Friday afternoon. I hope we all have great weekends. If you're in Texas, with all of my family who is in a not a hot mess, but a cold mess right now. God bless y'all. I think the sun's going to finally start coming out tomorrow. I hope everyone's okay. Let us know if you need anything. We can maybe rally some support. I don't know, but God bless the Texans out there who are freezing. And thank you, Bill. And
absolutely, you're welcome.
Out on the beaches of California. All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.